Good afternoon. Thank you for joining today as we celebrate the World Industrial Design Day with WDO throughout the globe for 24 hours. Every year, WDO chooses a topic for discussion, and this year the topic has been given as leadership. So today we have two amazing people who are also in the leadership positions. So welcome to the panel, Cathy and also Professor Min Wang. So Professor Min Wang needs no introduction, as he's very widely known in the international design circles. He has been the Dean of CAFA in Beijing and also the Chair Professor of HK Poly U, Design Director of Beijing Olympics, Vice President of EcoGrada, and also he was the President of AGA China, and many, many more things. So thank you for joining us today, Professor Wang. And Cathy Huang, Chairperson of the China Bridge, and also founder of SDN Shanghai, co-founder of Successful Design, a social enterprise aiming to amplify the value of design. Winner of many Women Leadership Awards and Female Hero Honor of Shanghai. Thus, she is an inspiration to all the female design leadership in China. Welcome to this panel. Dear Min, so I know you are a very, very strong proponent of leadership in business, and I would like you to share your thoughts on what are the leadership traits that contribute to a success of a business or very few occasions to the failure of a business as well. So give me one example of each if you can.
Okay. Thank you, Srini. It's wonderful to be in panel with you and with Cathy. Talking about leadership, there are two things I'd like to address. First is the leadership which involves with decision making. So when we talking about design, leadership is the person who is making the decision that very important for that person to understand the value of design, to understand how to use design to either to increase the value of the company or to create value for the company, for the product. And second is also very important. It's for designers to have leadership quality, because only by achieve those two, to have decision makers, leaders, CEOs understand the value of design, knowing how to manage design project, knowing how to use design for innovation, for doing good business. And then also to have designers, to have the leadership quality, then we can see design really become the driving force, either for transformation of the industry or for innovation. And so that's these two areas, I think it's very important.
Thank you. So I think this was one of the questions that we asked in the earlier session also to see how do we make the designers to become leaders and also the leaders to become designers. So I think you very well articulated the value of each of the roles to make value for business in using design. So thank you for that. And now, Cathy, so you've been a very successful women entrepreneur. You are the pride of Shanghai. So what would you say is the opportunity that are available today in China for women entrepreneurs, especially women design entrepreneurs, and how should they go about it?
I think a woman is playing a more and more important role in China in the design community. Unlike Western, especially industrial design, you've probably seen more female designers here. So I see the position is rising up, the influence is rising up, and you see more and more women sitting in the board with
That's a good
CEOs.
trend. Yeah. That's a very good trend.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, very positive, and also the other side, CEO also pay attention to design thinking, and they want to be a design thinker, and they are eager to learn about what's going on in the design community. Design make their brand a higher value, and the design thinking help them to think from moving from the red ocean to blue ones. So I think this is getting there from business to design. Well, a good combination of gender balance. Yeah.
That's very good. But I think in general, around the globe, through my roles in WDO, I've also seen that's not as easy as you make it to. I mean, it's great to listen to you, but it's not that easy to get accepted in the world, right? So what are the struggles, like you had to go, or you had no problem, you just were able to go right through without any issues, or where you went through some challenges because you are a woman leader? So that's what is interesting for our audience to see. If somebody is a woman entrepreneur, you want to do something, what are the challenges that they are going to face and how can they overcome? Some light on that would be nice coming from you.
I personally was trained as an industrial designer, and now my core business is service and product design. So I'm early on service design promoter in China. As you said, I'm head of SDN Shanghai, and I wrote 5 books about design. So I think the core of this change is about challenge your status quo and be up to the front wave of things. So when the men admire you, what do you have achieved? You will be their leader, right? So improve yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a good piece of advice, and hopefully for all the women entrepreneurs listening in. So this is a great inspiration. So thank you so much for that, Cathy, and I wish you many more success to happen. So back to you, Min. So what are all the designers don't get to say much in the board, right?
Yes.
For whatever reason, right? So how would you say this can change through, you've been coaching, you've been teaching.
Yeah.
So how would you teach the future designers to also get that feeling that they want to be leaders and be on the board?
So first, in school, we do try to let our students to acquire the leadership quality. Someone said leadership is about generate vision and then to have people's vision into reality. So I think design is about to have people's vision, people's wish into reality. But by doing this, I think as a designer, we should also have the ability to generate vision, to try to achieve our vision. And so in that line, I think that is a part of the leadership. And then also, I think a student should have the ability to convince people, to articulate their ideas, the concept, and then in order to convince their boss, the decision makers, and then their colleague. The colleague may be engineers, maybe marketing people. So the skill, to able to convince other people, that's very important. And then also the EQ, how to work with other people, right? Able to work with other people, to have the empathy for other people, for your client. So all those things are part of the leadership. But still, if they can, they should have a position able to make decision, or in the decision-making process, to actively get their idea convince other people or convince the board. Cathy and I, we just talking about one of our friends, a story about Mr. Rao. James Rao. James used to be the city planning commissioner of New York City. And now he works in Beijing, in Shanghai and Beijing. And James told me his story many times about when he was invited to come to China to work by the minister, the premier minister, Zhu Rongji, many years ago. And Zhu Rongji told him, James, when you come to China, don't become a designer, become a design businessman. Because I think Zhu Rongji knows, in order to make an impact to the society, to China, you have to have a certain decision-making power.
Sure.
And so he wants James to come to China to become businessman, then he can do much more than just one designer. Because in China, designer usually don't have much to see for the final decision. So if our designer, if we can to get into the decision-making level, that would be great. And we need a designer to have that kind of power. But still, majority of our designers are not going to be the designer,
Yeah, so
like Cathy. And so then we have to have the design leadership quality and they're able to convince other people. And especially in today's business world, because now you see the business getting more and more decentralized.
True.
And getting flat. So designer in their position, they should be able to have their own vision, to make their own decision. And in a fast-moving business situation, I think this is very important. I think today you see the new business model pop up all the time. And the business environment changing all the time, the value changing all the time. So in that kind of environment, our designer should really have the leadership quality.
Right. So I think you are also a professor. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I've learned being in Silicon Valley for a long time is also the ability to navigate from failures.
Yeah.
Part of the reason for why the designers feel that they're not up to it is not being able to accept the failure. You talked about convincing power.
Yeah.
So the convincing power also means if things don't go the way you planned, how do you recover quickly? How do you not lose your face? How do you feel the confidence that I can still go to the client and convince them? So that is where I think the challenge lies, and especially with the younger designers. But how can the education system help from your experience of teaching at different places? What you think are the potential courses that need to be compulsorily taught to the designers with a view to making them design leaders, not just leaders, but not designers, but design leaders?
Now in a lot of schools, and we talk about leadership, and we also try to make students engage into what's happening in the world and what's happening in the society. So there are projects which is a multi-phase, multi-party involved, and many people involved. And in those kind of situations, I think a student can learn how to work with others.
Okay.
And if they make a mistake, they have to know how to correct it, how to learn from it.
Absolutely.
And then I always tell faculty member is whatever they teach, whether they teach a technical class or they are teaching a branding class or whatever, they should have this in mind. What kind of student, what kind of designer we are educating, what we want our student to be in the future. So if all the faculty member have those kind of mind, and then they can put those leadership qualities
Absolutely.
into even a painting class, can teach
Sure.
people a lot, and the student can learn a lot how to
Okay. Good.
lead a project.
So I'm going to have Cathy. You've been an industrial designer, but alongside you also became a leader and also a successful leader. So can you share with us what are all those key design leadership factors that you learned along the journey of being an industrial designer? Walk us through the journey of how you grasp those important leadership qualities.
I have a famous saying called design with purpose or be designed.
Okay.
So the key word here is purpose.
Okay.
So as a good design leader, or if you want to be a leader, you think about what is the purpose you're providing.
So why did you want to be a leader? So what was your purpose there? So why did you choose to be a leader as opposed to working as an industrial designer in one of the famous companies?
I think it's driven from inside.
Okay.
When I graduated as a young industrial designer, I thought, wow, what a wonderful job. I will do this job forever. Then I entered a home appliance company,
Yes.
working in Qingdao. So I was so excited and designed many different products. And I didn't plan to leave Qingdao and work in Shanghai for General Motors. General Electric, GE.
Yes.
I was the first designer they hired based in Shanghai. Moving from Chinese company to a global company, and then change my position from designer to marketing person. That's a big change. So actually, this is driven by my listen to my heart. I want to change.
Okay.
I'm not just satisfied to work for a corporate. I want to see outside of the world. I want to learn business side. I want to know what's marketing, what's the other side. So I left GE, built my own company. That's also listen to my heart.
Okay.
I thought, I thought I will work for GE forever at that time, but build the company. And at the beginning of the company was only 4 people, and then now I grew to a multinational and interdisciplinary team. Wasn't planned for that.
Okay.
So leader is about do something beyond your imagination. Also nurture the team. Do beyond their capability and their imagination. They feel achievement. Me too.
Very good. I think I'm glad you listened to your heart and you changed yourself to become quite successful. So along the path, are there any times that you felt like otherwise, or are there any low points of, how do we navigate through some failures, right? All of us have good and bad days. So how do you recover from those moments when you feel like, oh my God, why should I start this? I could have been better off in GE or SE or whatever the company was.
Drink a beer. One is not enough. I drink 2.
Okay, good.
I got to recover.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So, Professor Wang, your thoughts on this? Like, how do one recover? So, what is the best way to, besides having a beer? What is it?
Having a beer definitely helps, and talk to people, and then talk to share your experience, share your failures, your problem. I think you got to have someone with a positive mind, positive attitude. I think this is very important.
That's very good. Yes.
Just add on what my beer joke. I made the joke seriously, my side business, and I built my beer hobby into the first Belgian beer bar in Shanghai.
Wow.
And later I sold it to the world's largest beer company, AB InBev.
Wow.
So that's called a play seriously.
While having a beer.
Yes. So that's actually my demo of service design. If you can build your service and service business in with my core offering, which is service design, I can build a bar differently. Then I can convince anybody. This is how we create value.
Mm.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So I want to change the topic slightly to both of you.
Okay.
One of the terms that we hear constantly in the last 10 years or so is the word sustainability.
Yeah.
Right? Sustainability means different things to different people.
Mhm.
And we all need to do sustainable practices to keep the world for the future generation.
Mhm.
So from your own point of view, first Professor Wang and then to Cathy, what you feel is sustainability and how you think in your business we could practice sustainability?
I think in the last decade or so, you see a very strong kind of people are working toward sustainability and in that direction. In China, you see a lot of new energy cars and electric cars, and you see a lot of solar energy kind of panels. But for designer, I think we still need to do more. I think there are a lot of things we can do. I always think talking about future, talking about sustainability, designer or design profession is the one which could do more. Because if we think we touch people's life from different angle, different corner, and we involve with almost everything, from transportation to living to housing, and then to fashion, and to publishing. There's so many things people, designers involved. If all the designers, we all have a purpose to concern about our environment, concern about this earth, and so we put this mind into our design. Then I think we could leave our carbon footprint in a much, much different way and for the society. And so I think this really should be a state of mind constantly to think of Earth, think of sustainability. And then, so it's not for the moment, for always. And should be a collective mind. Then we can share this with our client and share this with our colleague or talking about this with colleague. So only by we all doing this together, then we can really make an impact.
Absolutely.
And one of my students in Shanghai, and she's using the used coffee, used tea to make them into a material, and then making furniture.
Wow.
And so last year I worked with a group of people in Macau doing the same thing. Their company called Chashen. They collect the tea waste from each tea house and then make into a new material for furniture, for wall. So for those kind of effort, we need everyone participate.
Absolutely.
The investors,
Absolutely.
the tea house, coffee house owners, and then we need people who eager to buy
Think of
those
doing
kind.
that, yes.
So I think we really should, as a designer, we should work with
That's a
different people.
great example, Professor Wang.
Yeah.
So, Cathy, your thoughts. You're an industrial designer, so you should have good practices to be more sustainable design.
Yeah, I think sustainable and sustainability is a mindset, and it's something all the business people should put into their product and their strategy and even their daily life. Therefore, we initiate a non-profit activity. We do it annually called Global Sustainability Jam. So Jam is about getting different background people together,
Sure.
not just the designer. So that well, for that, we co-create and we rethink about what can we do for the world different for the industry. So by involving different background people, I think that we make a sustainability design much broader audience.
Sure.
Yeah, I really enjoy this activity annually.
So when do you do that? So we can participate the next time you do.
Yeah, I will send you.
Which month is that usually?
September.
September.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So I think it's great to know, and certainly we all need to do our bit to make the world a better world, and that's also the credo of World Design Organization. So we are making everything to create a better world. So I just want to thank both of you for joining this panel as we celebrate the World Industrial Design Day. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a nice afternoon.
Yeah.
Apologies for that brief technical interlude. I was just thanking our last speakers joining us from Shanghai for that engaging presentation.